Landscape design work in small sites often requires development of really quite complex symbols to give the client a feel for the design and the particular species that you are going to use in the design, or you specify in the design. But if we swing to a drawing such as this, which I've called broad scale testing, and I'll just switch the background back to black for the moment so that you can compare the two examples. The standard symbols here that are used in that previous design on a small scale project, some of them are put up the top here. What I'll do is just delete those. If you're doing broad scale work, landscape designs for subdivisions, for parks and gardens and so on, public spaces, large scale work, rehabilitation of wetlands, you'd want almost certainly to use a much more restricted set of symbols, and for that we give you in the library a set of broad scale symbols. So there's one for existing tree remove, retain a tree, a new large shrub, new tree, and so on. So this little drawing here just uses the same symbols over and over again, but unlike the previous example, it now uses the same symbol but assigns different species names to it. You can see here 5 examples of a particular acacia species, here 3 examples of a eucalypt. What I'm going to do now is to use the method for labelling, so we're putting different species with the same symbol. And to do that, unlike the earlier example where we used plant schedules and lists and used symbols that tried to convey the look and the feel of the specified plant species, here we go to broad scale planting, and we say we've attached a plant data file. We're going to label a group of symbols, and we're told to hit the enter key to set the text position. So we'll select that tool. Up pops the attached GCP or plant database file, and we'll scroll down here and see if we can find some sort of, here's a large shrub, a fiddlewood Cytherexilon. Let's pick it, and we say okay, what the little tool is going to do is to count the number of instances of the symbol, and we'll pick up the code. So we say, if we look down in the status line here, we're asked to input the tagging type. Is it going to be single or multiple? This will be a multiple tag, so I'll just hit enter to accept the default. Then I'm asked to accept the symbol, then pick the next one. Can you see a line is drawn from the first symbol to the second, then to the third? So I've tagged all of them, all of the plants there that are going to be specified for the fiddlewood. I hit enter. Now I'm asked for a input point of the label, and it has picked up the previous height, which was 302.3. I'd change that to 300, and we enter, and then I'll unselect all and we'll just zoom in. So can you see we've tagged these plants through here with that particular code, and that will appear in the plant data schedule that I'll show you in a moment. But over here the same symbol has been used to link to 3 examples or 3 specimens of Eucalyptus torquata and so on. In order to make the plant schedule, we simply go gCADPlus broad scale planting and draw the schedule of link plants. So we'll put it here and come down to there, and there is our schedule. So the count is automatically done, the botanical name and common name are written there. So we hope that using that tool enables you to work with broad scale landscape plans with a deal of efficiency. Of course, once the count is in, as it is there, and you want to label things differently, you could say I'm going to draw a line from that point out here and exit and pick the piece of text, pop it there, and then remove this piece. So we know of landscape architects who like to label in that way, so you've got to do a little bit of editing. It's very handy to have a symbol for an existing tree to remove it, and this symbol here stays as an existing tree symbol. The last thing I'd perhaps show you is that you can pick any symbol, right click, and say I'm going to edit that block, and I might want to select that circle and we'll make it a fill, and we'll give it some sort of transparency, maybe 100, and then when we close the block editor and we go to view work and background color white, so we're sort of simulating the final plan. There's an existing tree with its green sort of background in fairly light, and there's an existing tree to remove. So that's landscape CAD drafting tip for broad scale and larger sites.